Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday, the 15th of July, 2022, and if you believe in things like St. Swithin's Day, it means it's probably going to rain every day if it rains today for the next 40 days and nights. I find that hard to believe, but hey, there you go, it's an old myth. Probably not true. Just before we start on this week's news, we'll start with cricket in a moment. So I just want to mention that it was lovely to bump into my old friend Andy Mellor in Halifax Town Centre yesterday. First time I've seen Andy in some time. Obviously still involved where he can be at down at Sowerby Bridge Cricket Club, but it was nice to catch him, talk to him all about all things cricket and obviously family and stuff like that. So just sending out best wishes to Debs, his wife and family, obviously Sam, his son and daughter as well. Hope they're all keeping well. But yeah, lovely to see you, Andy. And without further ado, let's talk about cricket. Let's talk about Sowerby Bridge, because they were beaten by 3 wickets last Saturday at Illingworth, who are second in the table now, and they have been for a little while. They're closing the gap slightly on Copley by the looks of it. Bradshaw also won. They beat Triangle by 6 wickets. They're third. Copley, the leaders, won. They beat Booth by 8 wickets. McIlroy, defending champions, they beat Thornton by 2 wickets in a very keenly contested game there. Worley beat Great Horton Park Chapel by 98 runs, so a fairly convincing victory for them. And SBCI beat Ludfoot by 37 runs, so some very competitive games there. Just looking through some of the details. Going back to the game between Sowerby Bridge and Illingworth. Sowerby Bridge were put into bat. They scored 116 all out, and they did well to get to that total actually, because they were 46 for 6 at one point. But none of the batsmen really contributed at all there, and it was a decent all-round performance for the ball from the Illingworth players. Illingworth knocked off a total for the loss of 7. It was 119 for 7 they reached. Gaz Fellows again continuing his good form. He scored 50. Ashish Sharma did his best to try and keep Sowerbridge in the game. He took 5 for 25, but unfortunately in the end it was all in vain. So Illingworth keep their good run of form up, and Sowerbridge won't be too disheartened because it was a good close match in the end. Just perhaps need to work a bit more on the batting, which is what I discussed with Andy actually yesterday. So yeah, you know about that though, I'm sure. Bradshaw, their game at Triangle. Triangle scored 254 for 9, a pretty good total to be fair. Curtis Whippy scored 70 and Fletcher scored 60. And again, good all-round bowling by the Bradshaw lads. They all took a wicket each at least. And then when it came around to Bradshaw's turn to bat, they managed to hit the target, 255, for the loss of just 4 wickets. And you've got to look at Johnny Lister and Charlie Holt Conway. They both were unbeaten on 65 at the end. They were the main men there, and that's a really good result for Bradshaw. So keep them in the hunt. They're third, like I mentioned before. So going well this season. Good luck, lads, for the rest of the season. Let's hope you can keep winning. Booth and Copley. Copley won comfortably here. Booth 109 all out. It was Gav Whip with 5 for 38 and Ollie Thorpe with 4 for 27 that basically put the Booth batting line up to the sword. And then his man of match performance, when it came to batting, Copley 113 for 2 and Gav Whip with 92 not out, which is nearly all the score on his own. So after taking 5 wickets, 92 not out. So well done to Gav, that's a great performance for him. And keeping Copley at the top of the table. Thornton, 164 all out. McIlroy 167 for 8, so McIlroy getting home by 2 wickets. In Thornton's innings, it was Nicky Hutchinson who was the main man who held it together. He scored 67. And then when McIlroy came on to bat, both fields did well, but it was Tom with 71 who they opened the batting, and Ombahera, he took 4 for 49 again, trying to save the game for Thornton, but not quite enough. And Tom's innings was enough really to get McIlroy over the line, so well done to them. Worley, they batted first. They were 257 all out in their game against Great Horton Park Chapel. Connor Mitchell was 66. He was the one who did most of the damage with the bat. Dom Anderson probably thought he kept GHPC in the game with 5 for 62. Another good bowling performance by him. But when it came to batting, Great Horton Park Chapel only managed 159 all out. And Fahim Katana was the one that took the wickets for Worley. He took 4 for 25. So a good performance from him there. Seeing Worley home to a comfortable victory. And in the final game from last Saturday in the Premier League, Premier Division, SBCI, they got 181 for 9 batting first, and it was Alex Schofield, he was the opening the batting, he got 52, got them off to a pretty good start really. Tom Hosker took 4 for 42 in response for Ludfoot. When Ludfoot came to bat, they were bowled all out for 144, and it was Hosker who was actually the top scorer. He got 37, so he had a good performance really. but it wasn't enough, and SBCI's Lewis Firth took 4 for 41. I think Alex Schofield took 3 wickets as well, so that was where the damage was done. 37 run win for SBCI, and that was what happened last Saturday. So looking forward to tomorrow's fixtures. Great and Horton Park Chapel at home to Thornton. We've got Myvenroyd at home to Illingworth, Sowerby Bridge at home to Ludfoot, SBCI at home to Bradshaw, Triangle at home to Copley, and Whalley at home to Booth. The forecast looks good for tomorrow, so that shouldn't be a problem in terms of getting all the games in. In fact, the forecast for the next week looks very good, so don't forget on Tuesday, forecasting temperatures up to 40 degrees across the UK. Try and make sure you keep yourself hydrated, keep yourself in the shade if you can, and make sure you wear a hat. That's the only thing I can say. Just be careful out there. We're not used to it. I know I say it's alright, we've had all these hot summers in 1976, but a lot of people won't be familiar with that, so just make sure you do take care. It's alright laughing about it, but it actually could be serious for people, especially if we've got vulnerabilities. Okay, so moving away from Halifax Cricket League, we'll just talk about the T20 finals day tomorrow. Yorkshire take on Lancashire in a semi-final tomorrow at Edgbaston. Hopefully they can get past Lancashire and win the tournament for the first time in their history. And fingers crossed for the White Rose boys. They had a disappointing result, I suppose, yesterday in the county championship, but Surrey is such a good team this season, and they lost by 4 wickets in the end. Ben Folkes helping to see Surrey home. They won with 3 balls left in the game, so nip and tuck, but like I say, Surrey are a good team. Yorkshire will take heart out of that. They've had a pretty good season. They've been competitive all the games. They just aren't quite at the level where they're going to win it this season, unfortunately. But keep going, lads. You know you can do it. In terms of England, the T20 team were beaten 2-1 in their series with India. They lost the first 2 and won the third one as a consolation. And they're in the midst of a 3-match, 1-day international series at the moment. It's 1 game all at the moment. After a disastrous batting performance in the first game where they were bowled out for 110, 110, that's right. And India knocked off the target without loss of any wicket. Yesterday they struck back by, well, not a great batting performance. Moeen Ali scored 47 and David Willey scored 41, but the standout performance was Reece Topley. They bowled India all out for 146 and he took 6 for 24, which I believe is the best ever 1-day international figures for an England player. And I think 2 other players had taken 6 wickets in a match before, but this was actually the best figures. I think Chris Woakes had done it twice actually. But yeah, so well done to Reece Topley. Gets England back in the series. The deciding match is on Sunday. So, and I think it's at Old Trafford, so good luck to England in that game. And yeah, and also good luck to England women. They've got their second 1-day international today against South Africa. They won the first match at Northampton. I think it was on Wednesday. I'm not sure what day it was actually. It might have been Wednesday, Monday or Wednesday. It was opposite day to the men's team anyway. But yeah, so hopefully they can wrap the series up today in that game there. Okay, we'll move away from cricket now. We'll talk about football. FC Halifax Town have signed Jordan Keane. He's a midfielder who can also play centre back. He was at Stockport. Played his first game on Tuesday in the 1-0 defeat in the friendly at Fylde, which was Town's first friendly. This Saturday they've got a round robin competition games. They're playing at St George's Park against Hertha Berlin and Salford City. Hertha Berlin over to play Derby in the afternoon. They brought 32 players with them, I think he said, so they want to split the squad and give some of the rest of the players that won't get a time against Derby in a warm-up game, so having like a practice behind closed doors round robin thing with Halifax and Salford. Halifax were in talks to play Salford on that tomorrow, so basically they're going to all play each other, so it'll do all of them some good really, hopefully. And Halifax apparently have 2 more signings in the pipeline. They've got 3 or 4 trialists playing at the moment. One of them's Jordan Slew's brother Jerome Slew. We've also got Alessandro and Capello have been trialling with us as well, so they could be possible signings, so keep an eye out for further signings. Millie's confident he'll get at least 2 more over the line. He wants 4 altogether, and like I say, we've only got like 2 or 3 weeks of the season now anyway, so fingers crossed we're not going to lose any more players, although there's rumour that Kieran Greed has agreed a deal to go to Grimsby. That's not been confirmed yet, but no doubt that will come out in the next few days if it is the case. So we'll keep you informed about that in next week's podcast. Elsewhere, we've got the Women's Euro still going on. England have made a good start. They're playing Northern Ireland tonight. They've already qualified and won the group of England. Northern Ireland will be looking to keep restore some pride after 2 defeats. They won't want to get hammered by England. England absolutely battered Norway 8-0 on Monday evening. Ellen White has now got 52 international goals. And also Beth Mead scored a hat-trick in that game. So yeah, it's going well for England, and we'll see what kind of squad Serena Wiegman puts out tonight. But we're looking good. I've got to say, France look like the outstanding team I've seen so far. There are some good teams. Netherlands, Sweden, Italy, not too bad over. They might even get recruited next round. Yeah, we've got some good players there and good teams. So starting to progress now. This is the last round of group games start today, so we're going to be looking at then start next week for the knockout stages. So yeah, getting to the business end of the tournament now. Okay, elsewhere, we're going to talk about tennis now. Novak Djokovic, well done to him on winning the Wimbledon title. He beat Nick Kyrgios 3-1 in the final last Sunday. That's the day after Elena Rybakina won her final of the women's. She beat Ons Jabeur in the final of the women's tournament by 2-1. So well done to them. And it's on to the US Open next month now, where Djokovic will be looking to win his second major of this season and level him up with Rafa Nadal, who won the first two. The women's tournament is open. Serena Williams is playing again now, so she's going to take part, I would think, provided she doesn't get any more injuries. She's agreed this week to play in Toronto, which is a good warm-up tournament for the women's US Open, so we'll keep an eye on her progress as well. In terms of Rory McIlroy, and we're looking at the golf now, the 150th British Open. He's made a good start. He was 2 shots behind the lead after the first round, so that's a good start for him. Weather's been good. Tiger Woods not doing so well. He was, I think, 5 over par after his first round, so he's going to struggle to make the cut, I'd say, after that. But we'll never know what happens you never know what can happen in the second round. It can all change today. I'm not sure what conditions are like up there today. I would imagine it should be okay. Darts this weekend. The World Matchplay starts tomorrow in Blackpool, so that's always a big tournament to go through. Very popular with the fans. Seen as the second big tournament of the year, the second biggest tournament after the World Championship. A lot of people like to win this. Most of the main players have won it at least once. We've got Rugby Union tomorrow again. All 4 games are on Sky Sports Action. I think all 4 British teams managed to win the second test last Saturday, so effectively, and a bit bizarrely, all 4 test series, New Zealand, Ireland, Australia, England, South Africa and Wales and Argentina, Scotland all go to a deciding third test tomorrow, and you can see them all live if you've got Sky. Should be a very intriguing day for the British teams. Hopefully they can play out of the hat. It won't be easy for all of them, I'm sure it won't, but they'll do the best, I'm pretty certain of that. Okay, and then we're going from Rugby Union to Rugby League. Halifax Panthers, another really good result on Monday night in front of the Premier Sport cameras. 36-10 victory for York City Knights. Hard fought at stages, some really good defending in the last 10-15 minutes of the first half to keep York out when the game was a little bit tighter, but second half they got further on top and they managed to run away with it in the end, to be fair. Lachlan Walmsley and Geoffrey have both signed contract extensions as well, so that's good news for the club as well. They'll be pleased about that. They've got Workington at home on Sunday at the Shade. That should be a comfortable victory. You could never take anything for granted, but considering Workington lost 66-0 at home, I think it was, to Lee last Sunday, you'd expect Halifax to the form they're in at the moment. I think it was 12 out of 13 or 13 out of 14 now they've won, up to third in the table on points difference, doing really well, so you'd expect a fairly comfortable victory for Panthers there, but we never know, but we'll see, and hopefully they'll do it. In Speedway, Ipswich top of the British Speedway Premiership. They won again last night. They beat Bellevue by 50 points to 40 at Foxhall. Bellevue were hampered by the absence of both Charles Wright and Jai Etheridge, using rider replacement for Charles, and getting Zach Cook in, who only contributed with 1 point for in the place of Jai. Don't know how Jai would have gone, to be fair, but the rest of the team do okay. Matty Zagar struggled a bit with 5, but Ipswich isn't the easiest tracks to ride, and Ipswich are a good team. Eric Riss is at reserve as well. He shouldn't be at reserve, he should be in the team. In my opinion, he's better than that. Sheffield beat Peterborough comfortably, and I think it was 51-39. And Kings Lynn surprisingly beat Wolves by 20 points. They beat them by 55-35, but Wolves were missing the main man, Sam Masters. He suffered from a foot injury recently, and he's been on and off riding recently. He's struggled for race, and he's missed a couple of meetings previously. So he missed one for Edinburgh last Sunday, I know that, at Scunthorpe. So, not Scunthorpe. He pulled out that one, sorry, but he has missed meetings recently. So that may be one of the reasons why he's not in the Australian squad, actually. There were a lot of rumours about why he hasn't been included in the Australian squad for the Speedway Nations at the end of the month, but I think it might be down to this injury as well. Possibly, maybe it might be a little bit worse than what they think, but he may have other reasons as well. Talking of the Speedway Nations, it's been moved from Esbjerg in Denmark to Vojens. I don't know the reasons behind it. I didn't read the details, but I know it's been moved. Obviously, Vojens is a well-known speedway venue in Denmark, and people are familiar with the track, so it might be a good for the best of the sport in some respects. There's obviously a reason for it. Great Britain's team is probably much as expected. A 5-man team. It's Ty Woofenden, Robert Lambert, Dan Bewley, Adam Ellis and Tom Brennan. They're the 5 riders I expect to get picked, and they're the 5 they pick. So good luck to them in defending the title at the end of the month. It starts, I think it's 27th of July, so just under 2 weeks away now. Qualifiers are the semi-finals on the 27th and 28th. The under-21 Team World Cup or Speedway Nations on the Friday, and the finals on Saturday the 30th. So something to look forward to at the end of the month there. And then finally, we'll talk about stock cars. Last weekend we had the Speed Weekend at Skegness, and we saw Saturday's final was won by world champion Tom Harris, and Sunday's final was won by 543 Drew Lammas, somebody I don't really know much about, to be fair. He's been racing a little while now, he's been around the scene for 3 or 4 years, but he's up to blue grade, and a race from blue grade, and it's his first final victory, so well done Drew, congratulations on that. There are no meetings this weekend, as there's the European Championship weekend at Northampton next weekend, so I think it tends to have a break now between the 2 speed weekends to give the drivers and all the mechanics and all the crews a chance to recharge the batteries before a big meeting like the European. And the weekend after that we've got the first semi-final of this World Championship at Oddsall on Saturday the 30th of July as well. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much sums up what I want to cover this week. I hope you've enjoyed watching as always. I'd like to say thank you for all my supporters, all my followers, all my viewers, for enabling me to keep it going and make it worthwhile doing this, to be honest with you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe on YouTube, and make sure people are aware of what I'm doing. If people like sport, point them in the right direction, get them to watch it, and hopefully they'll enjoy it. So thanks as always, thanks for now, and I'll be back next Friday with more news. Until then, goodbye.